Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's the new experience. Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one now. Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Spirituality. Oh, now we getting real. Getting real. Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get down. Yeah, you don't feel good now. Real good. That's what I'm talking about.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to a special edition of Reality Spirituality. I am so honored to have Marianne Williamson as our guest today, and she is running for Congress in the Los Angeles 33rd District. We are having a huge election tomorrow, and I am really, really excited about this. You know, Marianne Williamson, do I need an introduction? Do I need to introduce her? She is a world-renowned speaker, a New York Times author, and I am really grateful that she has chosen to throw her hat in the ring. She is one of the true spokespersons of the mind, body, cultural, creative community. Her main point is to get corporate money out of politics, and not only that, she is fresh. Her ideas are, you know what, I'm actually so excited to have her that I'm getting a little tongue-tied here. But you know what, Marianne, I want to welcome you to the show. One of the reasons why we have to get out and vote for Marianne is she's on a mission to get the money out of politics. She will campaign for women's rights. She is here and committed to reclaiming democracy. She wants every American to have the highest quality of education. She'll be a passionate voice, just like she has been passionate in her life. She wants the NSA. She says the NSA is watching you, and she wants to dismantle the NSA. Our food supply is being corrupted. Marianne Williamson wants it stopped. She's going to work to ensure that as a nation we strategize and make peace instead of war. Marianne, welcome to Reality Spirituality. Thank you for being here with us.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm grateful to be here and happy to have an opportunity to talk to your audience.
Good. Now, what motivated you? You are so successful on so many aspects. What motivated you to throw your head into the ring and run for a political office?
You know, for 30 years, I've been holding a conversation in my talks and in my books about how certain principles can guide our lives, make things better, turn lack into abundance and turn pain into peace, and turn a life that doesn't work into a life that does work. And I am convinced, because all that a nation is a group of individuals, that the same principles that transform an individual life can transform a nation. But we don't apply them in our collective experience the way we apply them regularly in our individual and personal. So I feel that it's time for us to take this transformational conversation and expand it. It's not like this is a different conversation. It's the same conversation, but expanded to include the we and not just the me.
Yes.
And I feel it's time for that, because I feel that on a personal level, a lot of us are doing a lot better. But as a nation, we're not. Not because the American people are a problem, but because of the reckless and irresponsible behavior of the U.S. government in far too many cases. But if those of us who are having a more conscious conversation are not contributing our peace, or not contributing our dialogue and our sensibility, then how can we complain that politics isn't more conscious? So I feel that many of us think politics, we're not about politics. But we're all about politics, if you're voting or if you're not voting. If you're not voting, you're still voting. So I hope that people will join with me tomorrow and vote for me on June 3rd here in the 33rd District of California so that a more expansive, holistic, integrative conversation which is every bit as potent, every bit as practical, but far more loving and far more humanitarian and far more conscience-filled, far more focused on children, far more focused on our mass high incarceration rate, far more focused on a real sense of justice so that the average American isn't continually left out of the kind of political influence and educational access and economic access that they are now. Things like peace, war and peace. You know, I want to vote for the Department of Peace so that we can consider more nonviolent problem-solving options to domestic and international conflict. There are a lot of ways that an open-hearted response is transformative. It doesn't lack intelligence. It's the highest level of intelligence, and I think it belongs in our national affairs as much as in our personal lives.
I love that. Yes, of course, a Department of Peace. Doesn't that make sense? Yes. What is your strategy? I mean, you've started this race. What is your ground strategy? What do you want to achieve when you get to convert? When you are voted in, Marianne, what do you want to achieve?
Well, I feel that our democracy is diseased right now because of the undue influence of money on our politics. So if I win, I will take that as a mandate given to me to use my voice and my skills in whatever way possible to magnify the move towards a constitutional amendment that would outlaw the undue influence of money on our politics. Until we do that, we're dealing with a legalized system of corruption and bribery. And I think we have to get out of our denial about that. You have to name a problem in life before you can claim the solution. So I see that as the issue underlying all these other issues, and I see getting the money out of politics as a great moral challenge of our generation. I also feel that we should have universal access, not mandatory, but access to preschool, because children who have not had proper intellectual stimulation start kindergarten behind in their reading skills on day one because the other little children have already started to read. And if we don't catch those children up within 2 years, they're on a 50% statistical probability track to incarceration. And obviously that's no good. We also have the highest mass incarceration rate. I think a lot of people don't realize that our college graduates today are coming out of school with an average $30,000 in college loan debt. And it now exceeds credit card debt in this country. Seems to me if you want to stimulate your economy, allow your college graduates to have $1 in their pocket that they can spend and that they can use setting up their own companies. So I say if somebody has paid in good faith on a college loan for 10 years, it should be forgiven. And then we should start a program where for 1 year of public service, people could have 4 years in exchange for that 4 years of paid college tuition. We should be helping our young people get into the game. We should be helping them with their education. We should be helping them with opportunities for entrepreneurship, not just shackling them with these college loans and supporting the banks and high interest rates and how the banks have made it so that these kids can't get out of this even with bankruptcy. We should be supporting the American people in getting into the game, getting started, getting on with it. That's how you make life more abundant, and that's also how you make your economy more abundant because of that. Give more people a shot. Let them in. Let more people in. Not enough people are in. We have transitioned in our country from a government of the people, by the people, and for the people to a government of a few of the people and by a few of the people and for a few of the people. That's not the American dream. The American dream is that everybody who possibly can has a shot at it, has a shot at getting into the club. It can't just be a few people.
Yes, you know what? You're so right. My son actually has college loans. You're absolutely right. Oh my goodness. What else, Marianne? What else? Not that that's not enough to vote for you tomorrow. I mean, I'm voting for you tomorrow. Not that that's not enough, but what else?
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Well, you know, we have of all advanced nations in the world, we have the second highest child poverty rate. It's amazing, isn't it? We're second only to Romania. We have 1 in 5 American children living in poverty. We have 1 in 5 American children who are what they call food insecure. And that's because a lot of the obese children that we read about actually are malnourished. So there's so many things that we need to do to push back the current tide, because the tide has been going on now for decades, and it's banking policies and trade policies and tax policies that have siphoned off huge amounts of the wealth of this country into the hands of just a very few people. And we need to push back on that. We need to reinstate something called Glass-Steagall, which was put into place after the Great Depression in order to make things like this last recession that we had much less probable. If Glass-Steagall had not been repealed during the 90s, then this last recession probably would not have occurred. I think we need to reinstate that, which builds a firewall between commercial and investment banking. I would like to vote against the reauthorization of the National Defense Authorization Act. The National Defense Authorization Act has given our government legal authority to indefinitely detain U.S. citizens. And also, this domestic surveillance is just insane. Not only the NSA cell phone spying, but these drones that are coming, they have the technological capacity to see what your login details are, who you're sleeping with, and who just walked into the room. So I don't care what your politics are, if they're on the left or on the right. These things are very disturbing. We can't deal adequately with global climate change because the fossil fuel companies dominate the policies. We can't deal with GMOs that many people are concerned about today, GMOs, herbicides, and pesticides in our food, because the chemical companies and the big biotech and agricultural companies dominate our policies. And we can't have universal health insurance because the health insurance companies simply dictate what they will allow. So I think the American people, this country was founded repudiating an aristocratic system back in the old days in Europe, and I'm thinking we need to repudiate that again. Princeton University said in a report that came out recently that we actually don't even function as a democracy anymore. We're functioning as what's called an oligarchy, a small group of a political and financial elite, and that just dismantles democracy. That's everything that this country is not supposed to be.
Yes, you're absolutely right. You're running as an independent. Why did you choose to run as an independent?
Well, the way that these two major political parties have this kind of chokehold on our system, I think is very unhealthy for democracy, and it's an aberration. Political parties are not even mentioned in our Constitution or our Declaration of Independence, and George Washington warned us against them in his farewell address. So I think that we need an independent conversation. So many times these days you ask, are you a Democrat or a Republican? And then we make these immediate, at least subconscious, projections onto another person and this mutual disdain for the other person's values. Where is the creativity in that conversation?
I love
Where's the possibility of breakthrough in that conversation? Because there's no basic fundamental goodwill. We need to have an American conversation. Eisenhower said the American mind is both liberal and conservative. We need to stop feeling like we have to just get on a side. Then that makes politics into a football game, and that's not what it should be. It should be a creative, even loving, and productive conversation, synergistic, about how all of us can put our heads together and do something beautiful for our country and our world.
I love that. You're absolutely right. You're already, when you're labeling someone Democrat or Republican, you already have preconceived notions of who these people are. I love that you're an independent. Yes. I love that you're an independent. Now, Marianne, how can we, the vote is tomorrow. We're going to get out and vote tomorrow. What can we do? What can we do in Los Angeles? What can we do in the 33rd District to help you tomorrow, to help people get out, to help this message get out? Besides this show, what can we do today? I know you have a big rally that's scheduled in Santa Monica this evening. What would you like us to do to help you, Marianne, to achieve this? I want you in that office.
Thank you so much. Well, everybody can get on their social media. Get on your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram. My website is marianneforcongress.com, and that's MARIANNE. And we could use people down at headquarters today and tomorrow. And you come on over to the headquarters. Come tonight to Lincoln Middle School in Santa Monica. And I think that's on 15th Street. I'm looking that up right now. Lincoln Middle School at 7:30 for a let me see here, 1501 California Avenue, Lincoln Middle School. That's tonight at 7:30. For people who are still undecided, and that'll be my last public campaign appearance of the campaign. And then the vote is tomorrow. And get on your Facebook, get on your Twitter, come over to headquarters, help us call people, do database, door knocking. The whole thing is very exciting. And we can rise to the occasion in our generation of getting democracy back on track. That's what abolitionists did and suffragettes did and the civil rights movement did. I think it's our turn.
It is our turn. It is our turn, and it is our time. Is there something that we don't know? I mean, you've been I love that Newsweek voted you as one of the most influential, I think it was 2006, one of the most influential baby boomers. What really got into your gut? I know you want to you've been making changes all over the world for the last 30 years. You've been changing lives. What got to you? Okay, now I want to run for an office. What is it that, did you wake up one day and just figure out that, okay, I need to even do more than what you're doing?
Well, I think, and I think a lot of people think, that our country is in trouble. We have a permanent war economy. We have the highest mass incarceration rate in the world. We have all these children living in poverty. We have all these college debts, student loan debts that these kids are shackled by. We have corruption of our food supply. We have money running things to such an extent that democracy itself is being dismantled. I mean, how can anybody look at that and go, whoa, we're in trouble, and what can I do? And I think most of us are. But I think a lot of us feel helpless because we don't feel politics is a container for our deepest conversation or our most effective democratic action. And we need to transform that. Politics should be a place where we have our deepest, most meaningful conversation. And it has become a place where we have our most shallow conversation. And this needs to change. But it's not going to change if we don't change it. And there's no point in looking to the political status quo to fix these problems because the political status quo created these problems.
That's right.
There's no reason looking to the political establishment to solve a disease when it is the disease. So we need a whole new conversation, and I've had a 30-year career at new conversations, and I'd like to articulate one in the public sphere.
Well, I really, really appreciate you being on the air today. Now, again, share with us, because we have a lot of people in the chat room. We have tons of people that want to speak with you, but I am just taking questions. One of them asked, Marianne, let's see, hold on a second. Let me just go back to this. Can you vote? This is a question that I'm being asked. Can you vote? They want to vote for you even if they're not in the 33rd district. What can they do?
Get on your Facebook, get on your Twitter, get on your email, get on your phone, because if you live around here, or if you live in a lot of places, even if you don't live in the 33rd, I'm sure you know people who do.
Yes.
And so it's a matter of getting the word out. And you can still come down and work at headquarters. Headquarters is 11645 Wilshire Boulevard near Barrington. And we can still put you to work. You can do everything except vote for me.
Okay, perfect. So give that address again, because I'm getting a lot of people asking how can they volunteer, how can they come to headquarters. Is it open? Is it going to be open all night?
Yeah, just come on down from any time between now and 8 tonight, probably later. 11645 Wilshire Boulevard, and that's Suite 605. And if you go to MarianneForCongress.com, you'll see that and all the volunteer navs and all of that.
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, we have a lot of, Marianne, I think I've had more callers on this show than I have had in probably 6 months. This is just, the phones are blowing up. Is there anything else you want to share? I mean, listen, like I said, you're going to have a rush of people coming to volunteer, I'm telling you right now. And then
I hope so. Thank you.
Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Yeah, if anybody has an absentee ballot at this point, if you're going to come tomorrow, you need to take your absentee ballot with you to the polls, or they will not let you vote. So if you have an absentee ballot and you didn't use it yet and you want to use it tomorrow, then you're going to need to come with your ballot, with the absentee ballot. Also, if you go onto MarianneForCongress.com, you'll see a bar there that says Find Your Polling Place, and that will give you the address of where your polling place is.
Okay, perfect. Well, again, it's Marianne Williamson for Congress.com, and everyone that's listening to the show, all of my fans of the show, all of the thousands of listeners that I have, please, let's, like she said, go to your social media. Even if you can't vote, even if you're not in the 33rd District, let's put this out on Facebook, on Twitter, on all our social media sites. Let's get this woman elected. First, it's the primary. Tomorrow is the primary, correct?
Yep, tomorrow's the primary, and I have to be one of the top 2 vote getters tomorrow in order to get to the midterm election in November. And there are 16 candidates, and 4 or 5 of us are considered the top-tier candidates. So I have to get one of those top 2 positions tomorrow in order to get to the midterm in November.
We're going to get you there, Marianne. Reality Spirituality is going to get you there. Thank you so much for being on our show. I really, really appreciate it. And you will see tons of my listeners down there at your headquarters, and we're going to be at the rally tonight also.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Much love to you, honey.
Thank you so much, Marianne. Okay, bye-bye. Everyone, that was Marianne Williamson running for the Los Angeles 33rd District in Congress. She will be one of the okay, I'm sorry, I'm actually looking at these notes here. I'm looking at some chat notes, and okay, I can't look at the chat and talk at the same time. This has been a special edition of Reality Spirituality. I want to thank you for joining me and Marianne Williamson running for Congress, running for the Los Angeles 33rd District. Get out and vote. Tomorrow's the vote, June the 3rd. Thank you, everyone, for listening. You've been listening to Reality Spirituality.
Yeah, oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one now.